Mr. Dreaming on. That's the rider. Music lady, get ready for it, cause you know the dreaming on. Represent
Welcome to the 10 Things Taiwan podcast. I'm your host, Henry Twitchell. It's a first for us. I'm currently not moving too well. I had my ACL surgery, so just recovering. It's been not even a week. We're gonna talk TPBL today, Taiwanese basketball. We are in the middle of the off-season, so there's a lot of interesting things happening and a lot of changes for the 7 teams in the association. And we'll start right off with the 5 most interesting storylines of the off-season going into the season, which starts in October, so it's almost 2 months to go. So, number 1, we're gonna go with, I think the most interesting team is the Taoyuan Leopards, because talent-wise, they had a lot of talent last year, NBA talent, a lot of athletic players, and there's been a lot of turnaround on their roster. First big move is Lasan Chroma, the MVP, import of the year, top scorer. It's like the Taiwanese Kobe Bryant, really, in his game and the way he looks a bit too. And it's rare for foreign players to play for the same team for so long, because he's been here in Taiwan for 3 years. He's been balling, he's been scoring almost 30 points a game. And turns out that he's leaving, and he just announced that he was signing with Fubon Braves, which is in the other league, which is in the P League Plus. So he won't even stay in the same league. Chroma goes to the Braves, and Makolo, the other former NBA player, Chris Makolo, power forward, athletic, also is out. He's not returning. Not sure where he's going, but he's not returning. And the last, Check Diallo, center, who also used to play in the NBA, changing teams. This one we know he's staying in TPBL. He's going to the Lioneers, the rival Lioneers. They're signing Diallo, so that's a big hit for them. But on the bright side, they're keeping Malcolm Miller, which I really like. Malcolm Miller, former NBA player, G League champion, I believe. Malcolm Miller in Taiwan plays the 4, I would say. He's more of a 4, but he can really do everything. He's an athletic 4 who can handle the ball, he can shoot, he's athletic, he's also a good passer, he can defend 1 through 5. Very smart player, a winning player. So that's really a great thing that he stays with them. Second year with the Leopards, so he's going to be more comfortable playing in the system. He's staying, and possibly now that Chroma is gone, maybe he can move on to having a bigger role, more touches, more responsibilities, can shoot more often and handle the ball more. So I think that's really good for Miller. And Gao Jingwei, a local player, is also staying. Gao Jingwei, a point guard, scoring guard, local Aboriginal from Hua. Not tall by any means. Maybe he's in the 170, 175 at most. I don't think so. But super quick, super gifted, super skilled, great shooter. And I think together, just with the 2 of them, Gao Jingwei and Malcolm Miller, the Leopards can be a good team just with those 2 guys. We have some news about the imports that just signed, but we always have to keep in mind that at the start of the off-season, when they bring in imports, we think that's going to be the team, but oftentimes I learned that imports don't always pan out, and maybe after 1 month, 2 months, they're like, yeah, we don't really like this guy, and they get rid of him and they sign another one that they like better. We saw it before when, for example, Larry Sanders was here and it was not going well. I mean, or some other imports that come in out of shape, and in the middle of the season they're like, okay, let's go get DeMarcus Cousins, for example. He's available now, so let's bring him in. And then, of course, like, it changes your whole team. Or last year, for example, the Kings started really poorly, and in the middle of the season, they bring in Jalen Harris. And wow, all of a sudden you have a guy who can score almost 30 points a game and just dominant player. That changes the potential of your team. So just keep this in mind. But for now, the imports that they got, not household names, so just bear with me, but Brooke Motum from Australia. He was formerly playing in Japan, but he played for a long time because he's 36 years old now. So he's getting up there in age, but he has a ton of international experience. And he was last playing in Japan for the last 4 years. 4 years he was playing in Japan, and before that he was playing in France, I believe, for Nanterre and Monaco, so good teams. Brooke Motum is a big guy. He's 6'10", 2 meters 08 basically, and a pretty good shooter. But yeah, 36 years old, so he's up there in age. But I mean, in Taiwan, you can be an older player and still be relevant. We've seen Washburn is also 36 years old, and he's still a very good player in Taiwan. So we've seen this before. Quincy Davis has played into his 40s here, so why not? So yeah, Motum, shooting big, basically. It's a good pairing with Miller. They should be a good combo, and they brought in another player who was also playing in Japan last year for the Shiga Lakes, but he's also played a bit everywhere in his international career. Thomas Wimbush, born in 93, so he's still very young, 33 years old, but a bit younger than Motum. He was in Japan last year. Wimbush is a forward. He's more of an athlete. He has some G League experience dating back to 2017. He was drafted in the G League. He was not drafted in the NBA. Played in Germany, played in France as well for Nanterre, played in Russia, played in Beirut. He's played a bit everywhere, but he's a forward, more athletic, scoring forward. 6'7", 2 meters 01. 200 pounds, so interesting. We'll see if he's gonna pan out. I don't know enough about him, but just the fact that they have Gao Jingwei and Malcolm Miller, already they have 2 star players, and Motum should be a good fit next to them. And then it's gonna depend on the Taiwanese players, if they can play their role, if they can be a good solid 3-and-D players for them. But I mean, and keep in mind that they still have spots to sign new imports. It's not done yet. They can still bring in more players. So we'll see which way they go. But I believe the Leopards should be a threat again this year, maybe in the top 3 at least. Yeah. Okay. Moving right along, storyline number 2, and I want to go in Kaoshiung. The Aquas, simply because last year they're not very interesting. They're the worst team in the league. They finished with only, did they have more than 10 wins? No, not even. They had 9 wins and 27 losses last year. So it's a very sad year. And they completely changed everything. They changed the coach. They brought in Zico Coronel from New Zealand, who used to coach in Japan. I don't know much about this coach, but new voice in town, so maybe that's good. And a completely different roster, completely different imports, and the first draft pick, Adam Hinton, which I just made a video about. Hinton just played 4 years in college basketball in America for Cornell in the Ivy League, and his last year he had really good season. He showed a lot of stuff. He's a great shooter, catch and shoot, can shoot off the dribble. He can, more secondary guard, combo guard, can score a lot of points, has range, and is not ball dominant. He can playmaker a little bit, like secondary playmaker, but that's not his main thing. Like, he's more a shoot first guard, like instant offense. In the NBA they would play them off the bench, but in Taiwan, especially because he's Taiwanese, so he doesn't count as an import, so you can just play him with 2 other imports, so that's gonna be perfect. So yeah, Hinton, I believe, should have a lot of playing time. on a long leash where they'll let him make mistakes and be allowed to play through mistakes, not get benched every time you miss a rotation or you make a dumb turnover or something like this. So I think he'll have a lot of playing time, especially because the Aquas were not a really good team last year. And he's a known commodity in Taiwan. Everyone likes him, and his brother, Robert, who's not in Taiwan yet, is still playing in college. But they both know them from playing for the Taiwanese national team. They played really well. They're very inspiring. Those guards are bigger guards, 6'4", 6'5", stronger, athletic. Adam is not as athletic as his younger brother, Robert, but he's still, for Taiwan, like much bigger, much stronger than the average Taiwanese guard, let's say, who's more like 5'9", and 150, 160. Usually around 6 foot, I would say, 6'1". So Adam Hinton, I believe, can have a really good season, and he's a proven shooter. Like last year, he shot over 5 threes a game in 24 minutes per game, which is, if you play him 36 minutes, you do the math, it comes up to 7.5 threes per game per 36 minutes, and he shoots 42%, so he's a really good shooter. You want him to shoot a lot of shots, and he's going to help his teammates play better. So yeah, I'm a big believer in the first pick of the draft, and he has a chance to be the rookie of the year for me. And 3 new imports, because they got rid of pretty much everyone except Hunter Maldonado, who got here at the end of last year, I believe. So he had a bit of experience playing for them. Guard from America, more of a mid-range shooter, I would say. He's 27 years old, so he's still pretty young. And it remains to be seen what he's capable of, but he's, with the ball in hand, he can create offense for other people, and he's 198, so he's 6'6", so he's pretty tall, but I believe he prefers to have the ball in his hands, and from what I saw last year, he likes to play in the mid-range, play with floaters, more ball dominant. So, if he is the ball handler per se, the point forward, then Hinton is very capable of playing off the ball. But we'll see what they do with the imports. Again, it's not clear who's going to stay, who's not going to stay. The news for the other imports, we know who they are. We have Grant Basile from Italy, who's a big guy, stretch 5, who used to play in the 2nd division in Italy last year, and apparently he was named MVP, so he's really good. And personally, I know some Italian coaches were big fans of Grant Basile. Maybe it's because they're Italian, or maybe it's because he's actually good. But anyway, usually they bring players who know how to play the game, or good team players. And stretch 5 is hard to find, so that's always a good get, I would say. We'll see. That's the first import. Maybe not the biggest household name or the most talented guy, but we'll see how it goes. The other guy, Gabriel Galvanini, big guy from Brazil, and used to play in Greece last year, so he played against good competition, and he has experience in Japan before. Those are the 2 big guys. Can they play together, and can they complement each other? We'll see. Honestly, with those things, it's always a bit of a gamble, and we'll see what they can bring to the table. And last but not least is another stretch 5, Roscoe Allen, Hungarian stretch 5 as well. So again, not household names, at least not for me, but we'll see what they can bring to the table, and if they complement each other well. But from what I see, at least, there's a vision with Adam as the head of the franchise, the head of the Snake. As long as they give him a lot of opportunities to grow, then I guess that's the best path forward. And with the other guys, hopefully they have enough shooting, and the coach can come up with an interesting strategy, going forward, to at least not finish last. Maybe finish in the middle this year, although they don't have the most talent and the most athletically speaking, like they don't have anyone like Malcolm Miller or last year McCullough, or just great athletes, or if you think about the Dreamers, the last year champions, they had a lot of size, they had a lot of, athleticism on the wing. That it's not clear that they can really compete with that, but we'll see. I mean, it's a step in change. Is not always great, but at least it's different. Okay, so that's for the Aquas. Okay, and we're gonna move on to the next number 3 in the biggest storylines for me, which are we're going to the new Taipei Kings, who were in the finals last year, and they also made a lot of change. And again, who knows how long this is gonna last. They kept last year, who took over the new coach, Hong Chi-san, the coach who used to be a player for the Kings before, and he became a coach last year during the season when the German guy got fired. He wasn't doing a good job, but to be fair, I mean, the roster wasn't really good. But anyway, Hong Chi-san is staying, and I believe he did a really good job last year. I like what they were doing conceptually on the court as a team, the movement, the players were playing with confidence, they're playing in their roles. But again, the players are going to be very different this year. Harris, who arrived in the middle of last season and was their best player, best scorer, and really turned their season around. I believe he's out, and Austin Day is also out, who was a former NBA player, a great shooter. So they're both out, and who's still left? So we said that Washburn, who's been here for a while now, Jason Washburn, is gonna be here for another season. But then again, he's turning 36 years old, so he's getting up there, but still putting up numbers. If you look at his stats from last year, he was putting up a double-double, 18 points a game, and close to 11 rebounds per game. So those are solid numbers, at his size. He's almost a 7-footer, like he's a big guy, he knows how to play the game, can play the post, he can play a handoff game, he can set pick and rolls. We know what he can do. He's not a great three-point shooter. Like if you look at his stats last year, he shot 10% from 3 on 19 attempts, so it's almost nothing really for the season. So he's not gonna be a stretch 5 for you, but he was import of the year not that long ago, so he still can bring you some stuff. But the thing is, like, can you have enough shooting and playmaking around him? Because that's always going to be the thing. Austin Day and Harris are great shooters, so you knew that we're going to have a lot of space to run some pick and rolls with him, some dribble handoffs. And the thing is, with Joseph Lin, Jeremy Lin's brother, he's a lefty, smart player, good playmaker, but his shooting for me is a bit inconsistent. Like when he's making his shots, like he's shooting from really far, and it looks amazing. Like he shoots from the logo, but I feel like his shot is it's not the quickest, I would say, and he needs to have either a lot of space or be wide open when he catches to be in a rhythm to shoot. And he's not. I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't think he's really the kind to like shoot off a dribble. Like he's more of a pass first guard, and he can make floaters at the basket, but he's not really gonna finish through traffic, through contact. Like he's not the most physical guy. It's more about crafty and skilled. So yeah, so the good thing is that he doesn't count as an import player. He counts as a local player, so that's good because you can play 2 import next to him. Yeah, so now Jolin and Washburn already gives you a skeleton, but remember last year, at the start of the season, the imports were just not very good, so we started a bit on the wrong foot. And so this year, let's get to the new imports because we know who they are. Thomas Welsh is a center. Used to play in Japan as well last year for Shibuya, and before he played 2 years in Hokkaido. And he was actually drafted by the Nuggets. Yeah, in 2018 he was on the Nuggets roster in the NBA, and he did 2 years in the G League, and then had an international career. 4 years of college basketball at UCLA, so Thomas Welsh, American center, big guy, 7 foot tall. the problem is always like this, is like when you have your two best players are centers, can you really play them together at the same time, you know? Like, you know, if your best guy is Washburn and then Welsh at the same time, then it causes a problem in terms of spacing. Like, it's going to be a bit crowded, because we saw that Washburn is not a floor spacer. I believe Thomas Wolf can shoot the three, but Washburn showed that it's not really his strength. 10% last year, that's not going to cut it. No, Thomas Welsh is a good three-point shooter. No, he's not. No, he's not. At least not recently. So yeah, so that's a problem. So if your two best centers, you can't really play them together. Defensively, it's going to be tough, because if the other team decides to go small and stretch the floor, then you have two guys that can't really move their feet. They're not really mobile enough. So that's going to be a tough decision, unless you decide to double down on the bigs and just bully the other team inside. Completely win the offensive glass, just crush them on the glass, don't turn the ball over, and win the possession battle. And that's a possibility, but yeah, I don't really see it. I mean, maybe they'll just, you know, split the game 20 minutes each, you know, they just share the minutes. We'll see. Import, they brought in Kendall Lewis, forward, 25-year-old American, so he's young, very young, still up and coming, and he used to play in Romania last year, and he did pretty well, but who knows how he's going to do here. I believe he's a solid athlete. Usually if you're young, you must be a good athlete. Is he a good shooter or not? Remains to be seen. It's not looking too great so far in terms of imports, at least in terms of household names. Like, do they really have anything? And the last guy they added is Tanner Groves, also American player, and also another big guy, 6'10", 240, and used to play Saga Ballooners last year, which is also in Japan. So a lot of players actually coming over from Japan to play in Taiwan this year. So again, usually, I mean, teams, they like to bring in size in Taiwan, because it's a bit lacking when you look at the local players, like Taiwanese players. They don't really have size usually, or the athleticism. So usually the imports you bring in tend to be taller and more athletic. And in Taiwan, you try to find shooters and playmakers and guys who can play that role. And because you used to have guys like Simbular, or guys that are like 7'5" and just straight up out of shape and end up in Taiwan and get paid to just be tall and just stick around in the paint and protect the basket. Because in Taiwan, there's no 3-second rules on defense, so you can just stick your guy under the basket and you just have a wall and no layups for anyone. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what the Kings do. Again, there's a high chance that they change the direction they decide to go with. And change of shirt, change of color. Look at this, I gotta represent transforming. Had to take a little break. We're getting to storyline number 4. Okay, and I've decided to talk about the defending champs, the Dreamers, the Formosa Dreamers, who just came back from a 3-1 deficit to win the TPBL title this season, and against the Kings. And to me, it's a bit surprising, because when you look at their roster, like they have the most talent with the Leopards. I think they have the most talent, like NBA talent, like athleticism, size, and best players, I would say, in Taiwan. And when you look at the roster, most of the good players are going to come back next year, so that they're looking very scary to me. That means we're going to see all the big guys, Ben T, Tompkins, Coleman, and Gilbeck, who I'm not sure if he counts as a Taiwanese or not. Galbo Kai, something like this. Brandon Gilbeck, the really tall center. With this size, I mean, you can only play 2 of them at the same time, but it's really hard to compete, and we saw it in the finals. And besides, we complement each other pretty well. Holman, he's maybe 6'9", 6'10", but on top of that, he can shoot the three at a high clip. He shot 34% last season, 54% from two, 34 from three, 75 from the line, and he shoots a lot of threes. I mean, oftentimes he'll shoot more than 5 or 6 per game. So he shoots it at a high clip, so that's not a problem in terms of spacing. And then I think he pairs really well with Tompkins, because Tompkins used to play in the NBA. I mean, he had his cup of coffee in the NBA, and then he had an international career. But Trey Tompkins is very talented player with long arms and very mobile at his size and athletic. Oftentimes he's gonna dunk in games, which is rare in Taiwan. 6'10" with a long wingspan. Shot 60% last year on 59, so that's crazy. It means he shoots a super high percentage. He can finish inside in traffic on top of guys in transition. Almost 34% from three last year, so that's very decent. Actually, I was gonna say that he's not a shooter, but 34% is decent. I'm guessing he shoots only when he's completely wide open, but not even. Some games he shot 9 threes, 12 threes he shot against Taipei Mars one time. So I guess when he's feeling it, he can let it fly. But he's more like, athlete, driving, good passer, and against the zone, you can put one at the high post and one at the low post and just play off of X like this, and just it's very difficult to guard them. Like, who's gonna have the talent to match up with these guys if it's not the Leopards maybe, but even them, I guess. I don't know, but I mean, Tompkins and Holman, very excellent players. Ben T, when he arrived in the middle of last season, I mean, he's also a former NBA player, and his body type, they say he's 6'9", with high heels. Tompkins looks long, and Ben T, I mean, I guess he's a bigger, stockier guy, so he doesn't look as tall. Maybe 6'8", I would say, but he's a beast. He's so strong, and he moves extremely well for his size. Doesn't get up as much, I feel, but still, I mean, for his size, he's dunking for sure in game. But I feel like body type, he's more like, he's almost gonna say Zion Williamson, but without the hops. But I mean, very strong player. It's hard to compete with this body type, and in transition, he's a bowling ball, you don't get in his way. But he's still, he has good playmaking, good vision, and I mean, those three, they have really good chemistry, and they play extremely well together, and it's just hard to match up with this type of talent. And Gilbeck, I mean, is a giant, he's at least 7 foot tall, I would say. 7 foot tall, but I mean, a type rim runner, rim protector, blocks everything, only dunks the ball. He's not gonna shoot, but he's gonna set screens, hard screens, roll to basket, block his guy, box out. He adds a dimension of physicality, and last year in the final, he had this play where he got hit in the mouth, and he had a hole in his face, and he just put a tape on it, and he was back in the game, right back in the game, and he was pissed off, he was just dunking on the Kings, and no, he has some shit to him. He's the type of guy you need on your team, especially in Taiwan, when being tall and being physical is huge advantage. And this team, I don't see anyone matching up with the Dreamers, with those guys. It's really tough. And if that wasn't enough, they just have a ton of really good Taiwanese players, starting with Jiang Yuan, the point guard, who's been around for just so long, and he's excellent. I mean, I remember back in the days he used to play with Gao Jingwei in the backcourt in the Leopards, and together they were just super smart, super quick, and always in the right place. Great shooter and just a great player. In the finals, he had an unfortunate moment, but he's a very exceptional player. So Zhang Yuan, 35 years old, born in 91, but he's 5'9", 1 meter 74. He's a smaller guard, but he's like he's just so smart. Like to me, like he's such a vet. Like he's quick, of course, quick hands. He's always in the right position, and he really knows how to lead a team and make his teammates better, and know when it's my time to feed the post. To this guy's hot, I'm gonna give it to him. But also, like when his team is struggling, you know how to take over, how to make a big play exactly at the right moment. Like, oh, we need a basket now, so I'm gonna be more aggressive. I'm gonna shoot a three. Like he just thinks the game so at such a high level. So Zhang Yuan is just the winner. Like you need this guy on your team, and like with your imports, you can only play two at the same time. So you need some players. So Zhang Yuan is just great to have on your team. But then you also have Lin Junji, the little 11. Off the bench, also a smaller guard, 5'9", but off the bench he can also just bring great energy. He needs the ball more, but he's extremely quick. He can get to the rim whenever he wants. He has a little floater, and he can also find his teammates. But he's just such a spark plug off the bench. Like for me, he reminds me a bit of TJ McConnell in the NBA. Like just a pest, just like in your face, just pressure you the whole game. And just really annoying, but just for your teammates, that's exactly what you want. So between these two, you have a great backcourt, and then you still have the OG, the number 3, the captain. I'm gonna butcher his name, Chang Chun-Chien, the number 3 with all the tattoos on his arm, and he's also a bit older. 88, yeah, he's up there. 88, he's 38 years old this year. Damn. But he's an OG, like he's like Matt Barnes, but in Taiwan. He's like great defender, rhythm shooter. Sometimes when he gets hot, he can make tough jump shots in the mid-range or from 3, and he's just an energizer, and he's an older player, so he knows how to win, and he knows how to make winning plays, and sometimes when you have to play hard, do a dirty play or something, he's gonna do it for you. Like he's gonna take on the challenge of guarding the best player on the other team. So yeah, between these guys, I mean, the Dreamers are the team to beat for sure, I think. Since they brought everyone back, I mean, just good luck. We'll see if the other teams add any players, but for me, Dreamers, I think number 1. We're gonna move on to the number 5, storyline number 5. Okay, because we talked about the Dreamers for quite a long time. I had a lot of options, but I decided to go ultimately with the Taishin. We don't know anything about their imports. We don't know anything about who they're going to sign, who they're going to bring in. So last year it was a bit strange because they had Zach Lofton at the start of the year, and Zach Lofton was a beast. Like he was James Harden in Taiwan, and we made a video about this, and he was just so hard to stop. But at the same time, he has the same problems as James Harden. It's kind of like he is the system, like kind of like he's not really going to listen to, oh, we want to do this. I mean, that's my view on the matters. I guess he's kind of like, I'm play this way, and that's the way that we have to play as a team. So he's going to have the ball a lot, and everyone's kind of like ball watching. And I guess defensively, he wasn't really a star defender. Matador defense just goes for the steal, and if you get by him, but oops. And it's the other guy's problem now. So they didn't keep him for as good as he was offensively. Like I guess it didn't work out, and they brought in to replace Zach Lofton, Makur Maker. So it's Thon Maker's brother, 6'10", very light. Like he says 107 kg, but 236 pounds. I mean, like skinny and long. I guess he's taller than 6'10", but tall, talented, moves really well for his size. And he got in last year, and I mean, he had great stats, but the team was still very poor. I guess he was just playing, because he's talented, he can get away with stuff. But you didn't really have a feeling that it was a team. So we'll see what they can do this year. But there's 2 major storylines. The first one is they brought back Lin Tingjian, or Benson Lin, I'm gonna say it's easier, they brought him back to Taiwan, the Taiwanese hero who played 6 years in the CBA in China. I guess he got paid a bit more out there, and now he's finally coming back to Taiwan. We know him he plays for the national team in Taiwan. From what I see, I mean, he's taller guard, like he's 6'4", but more skinny, like not bigger guard, and he's not the strongest athlete. Below the rim player, can finish left or right, but below the rim, but has a very nice touch. I would say more score first guard, but he can play make a bit. But he's more like a scoring guard. We can see his stats in China. So he played 6 years in China, but he was scoring 19 points per game on more than 50% shooting, 52% shooting. Don't know if the defense is super good in China, but that's the stats, 52% shooting, 34% from three, and he often shot a lot of threes, like he would shoot more than 10 threes per game sometimes, so he shoots at a high clip, so he's a volume shooter, so he shoots 34%, that's good, 80% at the line, and 5.2 assists per game for 2 turnovers, so I mean he's very solid, and I heard that people were very excited that he was coming back to play. So that's a plus, like if you can have a good player like this, especially a local player, that's excellent. And it really depends who they can bring in as imports to play alongside him. And the next great thing next to Benson Lin, Ling Tingqian, is that they have the second pick in the draft, Wu Zhikai, if I'm trying to say it right, Wu Zhikai, from NCCU. So apparently they won a lot of titles in college basketball in Taiwan. And he's more of a forward, like he's 190, 6'5", 196, but he's more off-ball player, I would say. And he's a great shooter from what I can see. He shoots 43%, 44% almost, but I mean, he just played 5 games in 2025, so that's not a lot. So he's just 32 attempts, but from what I can see, he shoots 44%, so that's a knockdown shooter with good size. So in Taiwan, that's always a plus. It's not clear how much he can give you his first year, but I mean, it's exciting, having a young player like this get in high draft pick. I mean, you must think that the franchise has high expectations for him. So let's see, but that's a good foundation. You have 2 solid local players. And there's more news about the Taipei Mars, actually, because they just traded Kenny Chen. Kenny Chen, who was a guard, 6'1" guard who played for them last year. He's a solid player. He shot a very high percentage, actually, 58%, 33% from 3. And he was super quick and a tough defender, like a great team player. Like he's a winning player. And they traded him to the Leopards, it just came out. And so I guess it's to make some room for Lin Tingqian, for Benson Lin, so that he has more room in the backcourt. But I mean, I guess it's a bit too bad because, for me, like he's a solid player, doesn't really need the ball in his hand to be effective. So that's a bit too bad, but I guess it is what it is. The Mars, they really need to sign their imports to see what they can do. But I mean, last year they were not a good team. They were the second worst team in the league, with only the Aquas were the worst team, so they got the first pick. They were second worst team, second worst pick. So let's see. But I think it was interesting to go over this because at least there's a lot of hype around this team and there's a lot of unknowns still with the imports. So is my core maker is going to come back or not, or are they going to get new guys? Remains to be seen, but lots of excitement. We'll stay tuned for more news in the coming weeks because I think there's more to come and we're excited for the season in October. So anyway, that's the first episode in the book for 10 Things Taiwan podcast. See you around.
Represent West Coast, high power to the fullest, yeah.